everyone, and welcome to Quaran-stream, where my fellow Entertainment Weekly staffers and I share the things that we are currently enjoying and streaming at home while we're social distancing from everyone else. I'm Senior TV Editor Gerrad Hall, and joining me today are Executive Editor Sarah Rodman, Senior Music Editor Alex Suskind, and Critic at Large Leah Greenblatt. It's so wonderful to see all of you. How are you doing?
Hello. It's so nice to see your faces.
It is great.
All things considered.
Well, I suppose let's dive right into this, because I'm really curious to hear what you guys are all listening to right now. Personally, I am into the new Dua Lipa album. She's getting me through my morning workouts that are happening right here in the living room. But that aside, last episode we talked about how one of the silver linings of staying at home is that we finally get to catch up on a lot of TV and movies that we've been putting off. But it's also, of course, a great time to listen to music, and without the distraction of cars or subways or whatnot. So, the thing is, people always talk about the albums that they couldn't live without, the ones that they would take with them to a desert island. And, we're, of course, not on a desert island right now, but the isolation certainly has us feeling that way. So, Leah, what is your desert island disc-tancing pick? Did you get the pun there? Disc-tancing. Yeah.
I get it, but I'm not going to repeat it because I don't think I can say it.
All right.
Well, I'm just going to plug. Honestly, I've been working, so I'm going to plug an EW thing that's coming. I've been listening to the new Strokes album, which is out April 10th, and appropriately called The New Abnormal. And Alex, you and I have been kind of immersed in this record, so you tell me.
I really love the album. Like you, Leah, I am an enormous Strokes fan. I would say I'm one of the few Strokes fans that actually really likes their last decade of music. I'm a big fan of Angles. I know it's a very controversial hot take right there.
You have Sarah in giggles.
But
I'm saying nothing.
I will say, though, the album itself, as well as the album title, The New Abnormal, has definitely taken on a new meaning over these last few weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a grower, not a shower, right? Like, it's the first time that you listen to it, like, I just remember thinking, I love it right away. But you're right. Since we have, been locked down,
I'm fully Stockholm syndromed at this point. I am all in.
It's happening. Yeah. But the other thing that it has on there that I think is so interesting is there are several songs that have, allusions to other popular songs, to the degree that they have actually given songwriting credit for some of those things. And one of them
Well, let's not forget Last Night is essentially Tom Petty's American Girl.
It is definitely
exactly.
Tom Petty did that whole lawsuit with Sam Smith,
but
then for some reason was cool with the Strokes ripping off American Girl.
But here, they were smart enough to give the Psychedelic Furs credit on one song, because there's one song that sounds like The Ghost in You. And so they got out ahead of the, hey, this might sound like something else that you've heard before. But it actually, something about the nostalgia of hearing the melodies that they're alluding to works for the music.
Well, and at least that's one album that didn't get pushed. A lot of new music that was supposed to be coming out has been pushed to fall. Yeah, Lady Gaga did that. I feel like a lot of people who were going to be at Coachella, Frank Ocean is still putting out some music. Calvin Harris has put out an EP. It's some of these people who were about to have this grand showcase out in the desert. But what I'm also really curious about, Alex, from you, with Apple Music and Spotify, a lot of these streaming services, we now have, of course, full access to artists' back catalogs. So is there a specific album that you have rediscovered in the past few weeks?
Rediscovered. I don't know if there's anything I've actually rediscovered necessarily. There is an album that I've been playing on repeat, which is typically an album I return to whenever I'm feeling either lonely or upset or whatever, and that is Wilco's Sky Blue Sky.
Oh, good one.
Which is my favorite of their albums, which again is a slight hot take for certain Wilco fans. But I really love it. Like the title itself, it feels like lying in a cloud. There are these really light, beautiful solos from Niels Klein. There are these amazing, expressive, very abstract lyrics from Jeff Tweedy, and it just puts me in the best mood no matter when I hear it.
Well, we are going to hit pause for just a second and take a quick break. We'll be right back with more music on Quaran-stream. Hey, welcome back to Quaran-stream. Today we're firing up the digital turntable and taking a spin through all the albums we're listening to during these crazy times we find ourselves in. So much has adjusted in the music industry, festivals and albums being canceled or pushed back like we mentioned, but there's also been a lot of sad news out there in regards to the direct impact of the pandemic. Sarah, I know your pick carries a lot of emotional weight from the past week.
Yes. So what's interesting, we were talking about doing this, and the records that I want to talk about are the records by a band called Fountains of Wayne, whose co-founder Adam Schlesinger passed away from the coronavirus. And these are records that I listen to on a regular basis. And I had started to listen to them when we heard that he was in the hospital and ill. And then news came that he might be improving. And so that was great. And then he passed away and it just became on repeat. And the great thing about Fountains of Wayne music is that it was built for repeat. There are little details that you can miss the first time around. This is pure power pop heaven, which is what Adam created on the first self-titled album, on the second album, Utopia Parkway, and on the third album, Welcome Interstate Managers, which is perfect from top to bottom. They're all little vignettes of just regular people standing at baggage claim, hanging out in a diner, going to the DMV, but they're these fantastic...
All things we're no longer doing, yes.
Yes, exactly. But they're these fantastic detailed stories with these incredible melodies and these irresistible hooks. And Adam, of course, also wrote songs for the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, wrote songs for the movie that I love, Music and Lyrics, with Hugh Grant and Drew Barrymore. And of course was nominated for an Oscar for writing That Thing You Do. So it was a difficult loss for pop music, but the records are the things that we have, and these are fully Desert Island Disc records for me. And I would say start with Welcome Interstate Managers.
I was going to say, I mean, I was a huge Fountains of Wayne fan before That Thing You Do came out, and then when that movie did come out, it became sort of a family favorite of ours. In fact, we watch it like every year now. And I didn't realize that Adam had actually written the music until like well after the movie was out. And when it did, it was such a revelation. I was just like, I mean, for one thing, I was like, of course he wrote it. But on the other hand, I was like, it's just amazing and really spoke to the range that he had as a songwriter and a lyricist.
Yeah. I think there are going to be a lot of people who realize out of this that they are an Adam Schlesinger fan and didn't even know it because of especially things from the movies and TV shows, or just songs that were popular but you weren't quite sure the band or whatnot. And it's a sad time to realize that, but if there's a silver lining, I'm sure we're going to see like sales go up and stuff like that, and people discovering music that you wish they would have discovered a long time ago or had more awareness of. But one of the things, the great things really about recorded music is that it's a way to give people a shared experience across distances. And in the last decade, we've seen the rise of playlists, especially in singles, all types of new formats. Do you guys feel more drawn to LPs during this time, or will you go click on a playlist on Spotify or wherever and get a rotation of artists?
I'd go with LPs. For me.
Yeah, me
but
too. I'm playing records.
Yeah, I'm also a music nerd though, and kind of,
exactly.
obviously sort of weird about that. And
we all just want to brag about our record collection.
Exactly. I mean, I think we're all just also, even though we're of different generations, we're of generations still that are album listeners. And there's something really comforting about listening to one thing from beginning to end that you know by heart. That a song is great and you can, jump from song to song, but something about like listening to a whole work that you have a previous life associated with is really comforting right now.
I would say too, for sure, with someone like Bill Withers, who just passed away, I feel like hearing the analog crackle on my record player and looking at the liner notes and seeing those old images that, were in my dad's house growing up, and it kind of it's more kind of tactile way to say goodbye to somebody like an artist that you loved. That of course I never met Bill Withers, but just that chance to kind of feel closer to the music in this almost kind of physical way, and to hear it the way that it was initially released too, because that was all vinyl.
Totally.
And the one thing that we should note about Bill Withers, if people are only familiar with the hits or they only knew a few songs, please start with the Live from Carnegie Hall album because this album is a masterpiece.
Really
And for me, I don't know about you guys, but I assume this is the case. Live music for me is church, and I am missing that so much right now. And
Please don't go to church.
Right, exactly.
Stay home and listen to Bill Withers.
You guys gave me just a great suggestion what I'm going to listen to get through the rest of my workday. So thank you for that.
Shut up.
Yeah,
You're just going to listen to Dula.
No,
Dula Peep all day long.
I got to get that
Dua's
song
album
out
is
of my head.
great.
Just going to be Robin all
Dua's
day.
album is great. Yeah, I know, right?
Great
Yeah.
options right
Well,
now.
no, I'll turn on Robin when it's time for happy hour. Social distance happy hour.
Gotta
Yeah.
have a plan.
Yeah. Well, you guys, thank you so much. That is our show. I want to thank Leah Greenblatt, Sarah Rodman, and Alex Suskind for talking to me. We'll be back next time to discuss everything streaming and social distancing. For Entertainment Weekly's Quaran-stream, I'm Gerrad Hall. Stay safe and stay inside.
Stay safe.
Wash your hands.